Okay, Kelsey, I printed a copy of the figure that you're trying to find the surface area of. And basically, what you're going to want to do is you're really finding the area of the base times the slant height, or right here. And what happens is, when you do the math for that, the formula works out to be this thing right here. So you're going to have to find out what A is, what H1 is, okay? And in order to do that, we're going to go back here and look. So I filled in numbers that were in the problem that you had, because what your problem said was the side was 12. So that means this is 12. So in a regular hexagon, this radius, or this other piece that goes right here, so if you connect the center of the hexagon to the vertex, it's exactly the same. So all these little spokes here, so to speak, on the hexagon are all 12. Okay, so then if you take that right here, okay, and the height of the figure is 6, and then you're trying to find this edge right here. Because in order to find this H1, which is basically the distance from the apex of the pyramid to the center point, or the midpoint on the side. So basically, this picture here that's right in here forms a right angle, or this forms a right angle, so this piece is a right triangle. And so you're going to use the Pythagorean theorem with h squared plus a squared equals b squared. And h is 6, so you get 6 squared is 36. A is 12. 12 squared is 144. And we're trying to find b squared. So then you add these two together, get 180. And so 180 is the same as b squared. So then what you have to do is rationalize what's under the radical sign, or the square root. So basically you need two factors that will multiply and give you 180 that you could take the square root of one of them. So I picked easily 9 times 20. So then I can take the square root of 9, which means I'm going to cancel that out. And the square root of 9 is 3. So I put the 3 on the outside. So this is like saying 3 times the square root of 20 now. Okay, now I'm not finished, because I can take another square root out of this. So I could then go and say, well, 20 is the same thing as 4 times 5. And the square root of 4 is 2. So I mark out the 4 and put the 2 out here, and it's multiplied times what's already out there. So 2 times 3 is 6, and I'm left with square root of 5. So that tells you what b is. All right, so now we have this picture, we have this piece right here. Okay, so we have b, and we know that this is 12, so half of that's going to be 6. In other words, this picture right here is another triangle, and it actually looks like this right here. So that edge was 6 square root of 5. And the height along, or the slant height, that's called, of the triangle is H1. And if the whole side of the hexagon is 12, then this distance here, because this is isosceles, because those will be the same, so that's 6. So we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem again. And this time we've got h squared plus 6 squared equals 6 square root of 5 squared. So we square 6 and get 36. Then on the right side, you're going to square 6 again and get 36. And when you square the square root of 5, that would be like saying the square root of 5 times the square root of 5, which would be the square root of 25, which is just 5. Or really, all you're doing when you multiply a square root by itself, or square it, you're just taking away the radical, so it becomes a plain number. So you have to square what's outside and then remove the radical for that. So then you have 36 times 5 is 180. So you still got that over here. So I'm going to move it to the right. So I subtract it. So 180 minus 36 is 144. So in order to find what h1 is, I take the square root of h squared, h1 squared, and the square root is 144, and I get 12. Okay, so now we know that this piece right here is also a 12. So I've got a 12 here. I've got a 12 here. I've got a 6 square root of 5 here. So to fill out this formula then, which is just simply this right here, 6 times a squared square root of 3 over 4, and 6 times a times h1 over 2. Now, keep this in mind. This 6 out here is like having a 6 multiplied in the numerator, and you'll see that down here in just a minute. All right, so the very last step that we did then is I filled in the blanks here, or the variables that we had. So a was 12, so a squared is 12 squared. And a is 12, and h1 is also 12. So basically, I rewrote this with the 6 in the numerator. So it's 6 times 12 squared is 144, and square root of 3. Now remember, you don't multiply anything. You only multiply numbers times numbers, square roots times square roots. So you leave the square root alone, so there's nothing to multiply by. All right, then on the left piece right here, you take, and I have a 4 in the denominator and a 144 in the top. So I could divide 4 into 144 and get 36, or reduce it by 4. And I will have a 1 in the bottom and 36 in the top. And then I'm left with 6 times 36, or 216 square root of 3. Or 216 times the square root of 3. All right, now on the right piece here, we have 6 times 12 times 12 divided by 2. So I could have taken 2 into either one of these, but I just elected to do it with a 6. So 2 into 2 is 1, 2 into 6 is 3. So in the numerator then, now all I have left is 3 times 12 times 12, which is 432. And it's meters squared, and sometimes, sorry about that, sometimes you will see parentheses around it and sometimes you won't. I would leave them off unless you needed to. And I'm going to send you the video and the sheet as well. Thanks, bye. Hope this helped.